Hi, my name is Emma Cyprian. I am an artist, filmmaker, and performer, and this is 20 Things I Wish I Learned Before My 20s. Been kind of reflecting lately on some things I've learned over the last couple years. The years between high school to university, which ended up being longer than I intended them to be, I learned quite a bit about myself and kind of just finding my groove, being an adult in the real world. I compiled a list. It's 20 things I wish I had learned before I was in my 20s. So I'm sitting down here with the Peak to make this video. A little fun fact, I already recorded this video once when I put it into my editing software to check the footage, and I realized that everything was out of focus. The whole 45 minutes of me talking was out of focus. Something as simple as forgetting to check focus. I've already learned how to do that. I know that's a thing I'm supposed to do. I thought I had done it. There's your bonus fact. We are constantly learning, and that's a good thing. Also, I would like to say that these are all my opinions, my experiences. None of this is fact. Maybe you already know these things, and in which case, good for you. I'm so glad you knew this before I did. But this is not an end-all be-all list by any means, and it's completely subjective, so take this as you will. Love is real. Love is real. I know we exist in a world where sometimes it doesn't really feel that way. Love is real. No matter what kind, all kinds of love are real. That being said, when it is real, it's not easy. You can still be in love, and it will be difficult, and it will hurt. And also, you can find that love in a plethora of places. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic. It can be family related. It's not an easy thing, but under the right circumstances, with the right people, it's absolutely worth it, without question. You can find the same kind of fulfillment in platonic relationships that you're looking for in romantic ones. I've found in my life that I've personally found more fulfillment, or the same kind of fulfillment, that I was seeking in potential romantic relationships in platonic ones. Obviously, everyone wants to be in love. Everyone wants to find their partner, and I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying absolutely go do that. But also, if you're constantly looking for the romantic connection and you're disregarding the platonic ones, you're missing out on some really beautiful people and beautiful connections and beautiful moments in your life. And some of the best moments I've had in the last year and a half have been completely platonic moments that just make me think, like, I'm so happy I'm here with these people. It's incredible. Online dating is not for everyone, and that's okay. Online dating, depending on the kind of person you are, myself included, is not always sustainable or fun. I have some friends who are able to go on dating apps and they just want to meet people right away. And I so wish I was that person, but I can't. I have so much anxiety. And I know so many people talk about that they hate the talking stage, and I get it. In real world scenarios, I hate the talking stage. When I meet somebody in person, I just want to see them all the time. But with online dating, that's the thing that lets me know whether or not I'm comfortable seeing this person. I think meeting people online is not sustainable for the kind of brain that I have. And if that means I don't date for a while, so be it. That's okay. But online dating is not for everyone. And if you're one of those people, know that that's okay. In relation to online dating, it's okay to go on dates and realize what you don't want. I'm a chronic people pleaser. I have been since I was a kid. I want everyone to like me all the time, and it's something I'm working on, which makes dating so much harder. Because every time I meet or talk to somebody, I feel guilty when I don't share the same feelings as them. And based on, what dating is supposed to be, that's a pretty common thing that happens. Going on dates and meeting somebody and having a good time, but realizing, you know what, this is something I don't want, is just as valid as going on a date and realizing, hey, this is something that I do want. Don't hold on to friendships that feel one-sided or are no longer fulfilling. The groups that I had and the people that I knew as a kid, slowly we grew apart from each other, or we didn't live in the same place as each other, and we weren't connected to each other anymore. I found myself holding on to people who I knew deep down were just not right for me. It was very one-sided, and it was not reciprocated to the same degree. And finally, when I did let it go, I felt better, and it felt okay. It felt like I'm moving on from these people in my life, and that's allowed, and they're allowed to move on from me. No one ever talks about the friendship breakups, so don't hold on to one-sided friendships just for the sake of holding on to them or because you're scared to let them go. It is not your job to account for people's emotions or reactions when you are truthful to yourself and you do what's right for you. If you set a boundary with someone, it is not your job to cater to their emotions or how they're going to react to you setting this boundary. And if they can't accept it or if they react poorly, that's on them, and it is not on you. It's something that once you learn to do it, your life gets a little more peaceful. It's not your responsibility to cater to their emotions. Get behind your own ideas. I am horrible at this, but I'm getting better. If you don't get behind your own ideas and if you don't push for them, nobody else will. And until you learn that, being an artist is gonna be so difficult. Get behind your ideas because they're probably great. I'm telling you they're great. Your ideas are great. Get behind your own ideas because nobody else is gonna make them. You have to make them. And you don't know if they're gonna be wonderful until you try. I can't take credit for this next one. I think I saw it in an interview. I think it was an Elizabeth Olsen interview, but it's something that really stuck with me and something that I've used in practice. No is a full sentence. No is a full sentence. You don't need to give context. You don't need to explain. You don't need to cater to people's reactions. If something makes you uncomfortable or it's not something you want, no is a full sentence. Period. Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is something that we all need to do from time to time. However, sometimes we know when something is wrong or we know when something is bad. And that's where the body knows before the brain does comes in. I've had so many instances in my life where my body is screaming at me, no, please, no. And it's not like a nervous energy. It's like every fiber of my being is telling me that this is not okay. That also applies in a positive context. If your body is super excited, but your brain is like, oh, I don't know. Your body wants to do it. You're so excited. Do it. Absolutely do it. You will not regret it. I promise you. So learn to find comfort in being alone or by yourself. And that doesn't just apply into like a being single context. That applies to like living by yourself, traveling by yourself, finding ways to make sure you feel safe with yourself when you're alone. Be comfortable and find comfort in being on our own by ourselves every once in a while makes those moments a lot more bearable and a lot easier in most cases. Sometimes you need to live through failed experiences or failing experiences to know that they will have failed. For example, my first year of university, I tried to move out with a friend of mine. I had prepared. I wasn't like going into this with no money and no job. Like I would not have gotten the place if I did. But I needed to do it. And something just told me that I needed to do it, even if it didn't work. And eventually, kind of quickly, we decided we weren't really good roommates for each other, and we both ended up moving back home. This was a life experience that I kind of needed to do and fail to know, and to know what to do differently for the next time I move out. That being said, if you can avoid it being such a big pocket-crunching life lesson, I'd recommend not hurting your wallet. But sometimes in life, you need to fail and to do things and have them fail to learn the lesson. People can tell you not to do it or that it's not gonna work till you're blue in the face, but you're not gonna know what that feels like until you do it. It sucks, but honestly, sometimes it's the most effective way to learn what not to do and what to do for next time. You're allowed to change your mind, whether that be where you're living, your job, your major, I don't know, where you're traveling, what you want for dinner. You're allowed to change your mind. That being said, if the change that you're making obviously involves other people and could affect other people, I highly suggest having a conversation with them, but you're allowed to change your mind. Some people just aren't worth your energy. And if there's somebody you have to see a lot, be courteous, be respectful, and don't feed into them. Some people aren't worth your energy. Another dating one. Ooh, there's a lot of dating ones on my list for whatever reason. By the act of dating or going on dates or meeting new people with the hope of romantic connection, both you and other people are putting yourselves out with the possibility that you might get hurt or things might not work out. And that's allowed. That's literally what dating is. That being said, oftentimes we feel guilty when we don't have that connection. But if you communicate with that person, that's just kind of part of the gig. Once you get more comfortable with that concept, meeting new people and not putting pressure on yourself or on them to connect kind of makes it more fun and a little bit easier to get to know people. Communicate to someone. Otherwise, it's gossip or spreading misinformation to other people. And then you're just making a bigger mess than what could have been a conversation with somebody. And if they end up being a person who is not going to see eye to eye with you or doesn't want to have a conversation, there's nothing you can do about that. Make your peace with it, find a different outlet, but communicate to somebody, not about them. Otherwise, it's just gossip. This one I saw on TikTok. So again, another one I can't really take full credit for, but it was something that resonated. It's sometimes okay to adopt a let them mentality. And that can be in a positive or in a negative way. A let them mentality is like you hear people say all the time, like, oh, if he wanted to, he would, or if she wanted to, she would, if they wanted to, they would. And to an extent, that is true. If you mean a lot to somebody and they mean a lot to you, actions speak louder than words. If you're constantly the one who's reaching out to someone, or you're the one always making plans, or you're constantly being left out of plans and you have to like remind people, hey, I would like to be included in stuff that you do, sit back for a while. If they're not going to express their feelings openly with you, let them. It's their loss. That being said, the same goes for wonderful positive things. If somebody wants to buy you a coffee, let them. If somebody wants to do something nice for you, or pay you a compliment, or help you with something, let them. You probably deserve it, and you probably need a little help, and you probably deserve a little coffee. And if somebody wants to do something nice for you, let them. This one kind of came up for me more so during COVID, when everything was shut down, there were no gyms open, there was no recreation centers open. Finding ways to exercise or move your body in ways that you enjoy. Then I found things like recreational dance classes before the pandemic, and then when those ceased because of the pandemic, I picked up roller skating. I still really love roller skating, and I'm constantly looking for new places or people to go with. It's really fun, especially if you can find like a roller rink. Now this is just me talking about how much I love roller skating. But finding ways to move around, move your body, or find ways to exercise with people who you enjoy spending time with makes moving and exercising and feeling healthy more fun. Write everything down. Everything. Whether you're studying or you have an idea or you see something that you really like, or even if it's in a visual sense, like make a Pinterest board, like take photos if you like something. Write everything down, because you never know when you're gonna come back to that idea or that thought, or you wanted to do that thing, but you can't remember what the name of it was. Just get in the habit of writing stuff down. My high school English teacher had a phrase that he would say to us, which was write stuff down, except stuff was replaced with a different word. But write stuff down. Whether it's a journal entry or just a quick note in your phone, not only, keeps it up here, as some studies have shown. I'm not a scientist, please don't quote me on that. But also, you get to go back to this idea or thing that you had that at one moment in time clearly meant something to you. Real people, real connections, real relationships with people will never make you question whether or not you matter to them. They'll tell you in their own way, whether it's through words, whether they constantly say, hey, I love you, or whether they, invite you to do things or want to spend time with you or just want to sit on the couch with you. People who value you and have real time for you won't make a game out of it, won't forget to include you in things. Real people don't do that. And we all have days where we're like, oh, do my friends hate me? Like, I have those days all the time. And I know it's usually it's like up in here. And if I don't think it is, I talk to them. And I'm like, hey, are you mad at me? And if they say yes, we have a conversation about it. Because it's just so much easier to communicate that than to sit in your own stew of wondering what's going on. Real people don't play games or make you feel unsure about if they actually want you around. Keep the peace, but take no BS. Don't take anything from anyone for the sake of being kind. You can be kind and straightforward at the same time, but don't take hate. Don't take someone just being outright bigoted because you don't want to rock the boat. And you deserve better. You absolutely deserve better. Those are my 20 things I wish I'd learned before I was in my 20s, plus one bonus one at the beginning, apparently. Thank you for watching or listening. I'm not sure how I'm releasing this yet. I'm releasing it for the Peak SFU. Thank you so much. I had a blast filming this. 2 times. Leave a comment down below if this is on YouTube. Something you've learned, something that resonated with you, or something you wish you learned before you were in your teenage years, or before your 20s, or your 30s, or your 50s, or your 70s. My name is Emma Cyprian, as I mentioned in the beginning. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully there will be a next one. We'll see. But thank you for watching. Bye!